In the meantime, what I've asked Jet Johnson to do is to look at what kinds of executive authorities we have in order to make the system work better. And we've had a lot of stakeholder discussions. That set of proposals is being worked up. And the one thing that I think has happened was the issue with unaccompanied children that got so much attention a couple of months back. And part of the reason that was important was not because that represented a huge unprecedented surge in overall immigration at the border. But I do think that it changed the perception of the American people about what's happening at the borders. And so one of the things have had to do is to work through systematically to make sure that specific problem in a fairly defined area of the border, that we're starting to deal with that in a serious way. And the good news is we've started to make some progress. I mean, what we've seen so far is that throughout the summer the number of apprehensions have been decreasing. Maybe that's counterintuitive. But that's a good thing because that means that fewer folks are coming across. The number of apprehensions in August are down from July. And they're actually lower than they were August of last year. Apprehensions in July were half of what they were in June. So we're seeing a significant downward trend in terms of these unaccompanied children. And what that I think allows us to do is to make sure that those kids are being taken care of properly, with due process. At the same time, it's allowed us to then engage in a broader conversation. About what we need to do to get more resources down at the border. It would have been helped along if Congress had voted for the supplemental that I asked for. They did not. That means we've got to make some administrative choices and executive choices about. For example, getting more immigration judges down there. So that has kept us busy, but it has not stopped the process of looking more broadly about. How do we get a smarter immigration system in place while we're waiting for Congress to act? And it continues to be my belief that if I can't see congressional action, that I need to do at least what I can in order to make the system work better. But some of these things do affect timelines. And we're just going to be working through as systematically as possible in order to get this done. But have no doubt, in the absence of congressional action, I'm going to do what I can to make sure the system works better. Thank you, guys. Barack Obama. Address to multinational forces serving in Iraq. Delivered April 7, 2009, Alpha Palace, Baghdad, Iraq. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Let me say Multinational Force Iraq, Multinational Corps Iraq. Multinational Security Transition Command Iraq 1st Corps, America's Corp Band, thanks to all of you. Listen, I am so honored. Audience member, we love you. President Obama, I love you back. I'm honored and grateful to be with all of you. And I'm not going to talk long because I want to shake as many hands as I can. And I've been talking all week. But there's a couple of things I want to say. Number 1, thank you. You know, when I was at Camp Lejeune I spoke about what it means for America to see our best and brightest. Our finest young men and women serve us. And what I said then is something that I want to repeat to you, which is, you have performed brilliantly in every mission that has been given to you. Under enormous strain and under enormous sacrifice, through controversy and difficulty and politics. You've kept your eyes focused on just doing your job. And because of that, every mission that's been assigned, from getting rid of Saddam to reducing violence, to stabilizing the country, to facilitating elections, you have given Iraq the opportunity to stand on its own as a democratic country. That is an extraordinary achievement. And for that you have the thanks of the American people. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, this is going to be a critical period, these next 18 months. I was just discussing this with your commander, but I think it's something that all of you know. It is time for us to transition to the Iraqis. They need to take responsibility for their country and for their sovereignty. And in order for them to do that, they have got to make political accommodations. They're going to have to decide that they want to resolve. Their differences through constitutional means and legal means. They are going to have to focus on providing government services that encourage confidence among their citizens. All those things they have to do. We can't do it for them. But what we can do is make sure that we are a stalwart partner. That we are working alongside them, that we are committed to their success. That in terms of training their security forces, training their civilian forces in order to achieve a more effective government. They know that they have a steady partner with us. And so just as we thank you for what you've already accomplished, I want to say thank you because you will be critical in terms of us being able to make sure that Iraq is stable, that it is not a safe haven for terrorists. That it is a good neighbor and a good ally, and we can start bringing our folks home. So now is not the time to lose focus. We have to be even more focused than we've been in order to achieve success. The last point I want to make is I know how hard it's been on a lot of you. You've been away from your families, many of you for multiple rotations. You've seen buddies of yours injured and you remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. There are probably some people here who have seen children born and have been missing watching them grow up. There are many of you who have listened to your spouse and the extraordinary sacrifices that they have to make when you're gone. And so I want you to know that Michelle and myself are doing everything our doing everything we can to provide additional support for military families. The federal budget that I have introduced increases support for military families. We are going to do everything required to make sure that the commitment we make to our veterans is met. And that people don't have to fight for what they have earned as a consequence of their service. The main point I want to make is we have not forgotten what you have already done. We are grateful for what you will do, and as long as I am in the White House. You are going to get the support that you need and the thanks that you deserve from a grateful nation. So thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Barack Obama. Senate floor speech on the Iraq War after 4 years. Delivered March 21, 2007, Washington, D. C. And edited for continuity. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, on Thursdays Senator Durbin and I hold a constituent coffee so we can hear from the folks back home. A young man came a few months ago who was about 25, 26 years old. He had been back from Iraq for a year. The first 6 months of that year had been spent in a coma. An explosion had shattered his face, blinded him in both eyes, has left him without the use of one arm. He talked to us about how he was going through rehab. He introduced us to his family. He has a wife and 2 young daughters like I do. And his wife talked for a bit about the adjustments they were making at home since Dad got hurt. And I found myself looking at not just him, but his wife, who loves him so much. And I thought about how their lives were forever changed. Because of the decision that was carried out 4 years ago. The sacrifices of war are immeasurable. I first made this point in the fall of 2002, at the end of the speech that I gave opposing the invasion of Iraq. I said then that I certainly do not oppose all wars. Rather, I oppose dumb wars, rash wars, wars that are based on passion as opposed to wars. Based on a sober assessment of our national security interests. Because there's no decision more profound than the one we make to send our brave men and women into harm's way. I've thought about these words from time to time since that speech, but never so much as the day I saw that young man and his wife. And understood the degree to which their lives had been turned upside down. The sacrifices of war are immeasurable. Too many have returned from Iraq with that soldier's story with broken bodies and shattered nerves and wounds that even the best care may not heal. Too many of our best have come home shrouded in the flag they loved. Too many moms and dads and husbands and wives have answered. That knock on the door that's hardest for any loved one to hear. And the rest of us have seen too many promises of swift victories and dying insurgencies and budding. Democracy giving way to the reality of a brutal civil war that goes on and on and on to this day.